Mademoiselle,
Oui, monsieur.
Senorita, I greet you.
You should continue in French, love.
I don't like doing too much. I
Okay,
just
I'm
do
sorry,
a little
I'm
bit,
sorry, my
just a
bad.
little touch.
Welcome, guys.
It's like adding spice. You do it too much, you mess up the whole thing.
That's why I love you.
So I just know to drop a little bit in there.
Wow.
I love you more, baby. Hey guys, welcome.
Hi, guys. Welcome.
Thank you for joining another episode
Thank you
of
for being a
Fortify.
part
As you guys
of
know, this
episode.
month is our anniversary month. This month of
Right.
October,
Sure.
we're turning 1 year
One.
in marital bliss. Is that what married people usually
Of
say?
course.
Marital bliss.
Mhm.
We are 1 year into it. We're very young toddlers.
Yes.
In
We're just
this-
coming up. Upcoming.
We're just upcoming early risers in the whole marriage thing.
Mhm.
You know, we thank
You're
God that He has
welcome.
been helping us through this whole institution of marriage. So this month, it's our anniversary month.
Right.
We're doing episodes about relationships.
Mhm.
You know, we're talking about singlehood. Our last episode was how to be successfully single
Right.
and how to have very effective single season, if I could call it that.
Mhm.
So you definitely want to check that out if you've not
Sure. Thanks,
checked
love.
it. You're welcome, babe. So what would our episode today be about, babe?
So for this episode, we'll be talking about dealing with exes.
Dealing with exes.
Exes.
Exes. How to deal with your exes.
So if you've not checked out the first episode, please go back.
You want to
because
check that?
This is just a continuation.
This episode
What
is going to be
we
quite
talked
interesting. I
Very.
prophesy. Because the topic of exes
Hallelujah.
is a very relevant episode. It's a very relevant topic.
Very.
Some of you, as you are listening to us right now,
Mm-hmm.
you are thinking about that boy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you, as you are listening to me right now, you are thinking about that girl.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Some of you are saying that, that witch.
Hmm.
Some of you are thinking about, hey,
Hmm.
that thief.
They might even be swearing them in their
Yes,
mouth.
you are
Please,
saying, yes, this
Please,
episode,
please,
I
wait,
want to know how
just
to deal with them.
wait. Just hold it. Don't even think it. Just hold it.
We are going to
Let's
show
continue.
you, we're going to talk about how to deal with your ex.
Who is really like this? How to do?
They must be dealt with. Are you with me now?
No.
Are you? Oh, is this not the topic, babe? What?
Okay. Oh.
Is it topic?
Okay.
Your ex? We're going to deal with them. I promise you, I stand with you as a man of God. I want to join forces with you.
How to
And I want
deal.
to let you that you, if they are your ex, we are going to deal with them.
Hallelujah.
The only way they are going to avoid being dealt with is if they are not your ex. But
Yes.
if they have the temerity,
Hey, ya, chata, bata.
the impetus
Woof, woof, woof.
to make you an ex, they must be dealt with.
Hey, yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Are you with me, babe?
I'm on fire.
Are you with me?
I'm on fire, man.
Am I speaking now?
Yes, you are.
X, O-E-X.
Hear the word of the Lord.
O-E-X. I will deal with you today.
You must get ready. This episode is fire.
Hmm.
Guys. Dealing with your exes.
Dealing with your exes. How do you deal with your exes?
Mm.
So guys, that's what we're talking about today. Get ready. Get your jotter. Get a pen
Please.
so that you can
need to
jot
take
things down so that you'll be able to take things away.
Hey! Oh!
Just do money.
That's
You'll be able to take things
Away.
away.
Yes, and there's a lot you will take away.
There's a lot you will take away.
Mhm.
Alright, so I beg, let me clarify what we mean.
Please,
Okay, so when we talk about dealing with exes, yes, there are different exes that we're talking about.
Mhm.
Hold on. If you have multiple ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends, that's not what I mean. That is a part of it though. So,
love.
hey, some people do.
Hey,
Some of us do.
of course now.
Some of us do. We have different ones that we used to, that they've exited.
Thank God for Jesus.
We thank God for Jesus. All right, so dealing with exes, we're talking about, yes, ex-partners. That's ex.
One X,
We're talking about excuses.
another X,
That's another X. We're talking about experiences.
another X.
That's another X. And we're talking about expectations.
Another X.
That's another X. So we're talking about ex-partners, excuses, experiences, expectations. How to deal with these things. They need to be dealt with, guys. Especially in your single years, as you're preparing towards marriage, as you're trusting God these are things that you need to deal with. All right. I've had discussions with different people as you would think, because I get to talk with people who, they might be in a good relationship now, but the prosperity, if I could call it that, or the beauty of the relationship is being hindered by ex. Now, with this ex, I'm talking about ex-partners. They still have an ex-partner who, for some people, maybe they're still in communication with. For other people, even though they're not talking with them anymore, that partner still have an influence in their relationship. All right? So, you would find this also with ladies, some guys as well. Guys know how to hide it more. But guys, I think we're the ones struggling with the impact of our exes in our current relationships. And the reason why we struggle with it more is because we can't even talk about it. We can't express emotion. We can't express the fact that we are heartbroken. We can't express the fact that someone maybe used us or messed us up in terms of our emotions. So we tend to keep it inside our heart, and then we're still, suffering, the repercussion of all of that. We're still paying for it. And oftentimes, if we now get to fall into a new relationship, or what they usually call a rebound relationship, that person is the one that is going to pay. So I will deal with you as I would have done to my ex, but I didn't get a chance to. So I want to treat you in a way that I should probably have done all of that back to the person who played with my heart. But then you are the one suffering for it. So as a lady, maybe you meet a guy who had a bad relationship with their ex, who maybe cheated on him, or maybe disrespected him, or maybe was just with him because of money, or didn't really respect him, or whatever the reason might be. And then the person is relating with you now as you are that lady. So maybe you are even giving your opinion about something, and he would all of a sudden become angry. And you are thinking that, how can you be angry for just something that I said? And he's not even listening to what you said. He's observing what you said from the lens of his past relationship. All right, through the lens of his ex's response or his ex's reactions or his ex's comments concerning him. All right, so let's say a guy who has been with a lady who's always talking him down, telling you that you never amount to anything, or you're not a good man. Look at all the people, your friends, what they are doing, and blah blah blah. And then he ends that relationship, quote unquote, end that is not truly ended because the impact is still on him. And there's a new lady, and maybe if he wants to do something, and you are asking, "Oh, are you sure this and that?" He would now interpret that, "Oh, so." What do you mean? You think that you are trying to say that I'm useless, or I don't know what I'm doing, or this and that? Worst case scenario, imagine that guy is now married, all right? Exited a relationship that he did not probably exit emotionally. He exited the relationship physically, but his emotions are still tied there. And now he's now in a marriage relationship, settled down, and the wife is paying the price for what she didn't cause. All right? So it is important for us to learn how to really deal with ex relationships. Okay? Like there are those who are still physically there, that maybe you still have communication with them. So, "Oh, we are just friends, we're good friends, and then we are just keeping in communication." I personally, I'm not saying this 100%, but to a greater extent, I don't subscribe to the idea that you can end a relationship with someone and still be friends with that person, especially from being a guy. I don't subscribe to it. I know that there may be some certain situations.
There are different situations that can be applicable,
or maybe you guys, are sort of very close, and for whatever reason that you have to still. I understand that, okay. But I think as best as you can, it is not really healthy for you to still be in communication, especially close communication with an ex, right? Because we tend to make a reference.
Comparison.
Yes, even unconsciously. Yeah. All right, you tend to always make reference, and it's easier for you to truly build up a new relationship when you fully exited the previous one. Yes, right. Okay, so when you now deal with this person, you are dealing with this person as the person. So if you do something to me, it is important, that I have dealt with my ex partner's effect on me. So when you do something, I'm not going to say, "Oh, you guys are all the same." That is one comment that I hate.
Yeah,
especially when it is used against women.
Are the same.
I think if you are a lady and a guy is telling you that, "Oh, no, the woman, all of you ladies, you are all the same," you should fight against that statement. It's not a fair thing to say.
Yes, it's not.
All right, because I am definitely not the same as all women, because you left every other woman and you chose to.
Don't generalize me to
it's an insult. It probably might not seem like it because of society and culture has accepted it, but I believe it is. I don't think God help me. One of the things that I would never say to you, baby, is that, oh, you are like every other woman. Because, I mean, with all the effort that you were making, all your uniqueness, your peculiarity, your beauty, all the sacrifices that you keep making, and who you are in God, as God has made you to be. I cannot look at all of that, and maybe because of I'm angry, or because of whatever it is that you do, and I say, all of you, that's why I don't even, all these women think I don't subscribe to that statement. All right, so dealing with it, what do you have to say about ex-partners, ex-relationships?
You've said majorly most of everything, and everything you've said, well, I might just add a few things. Dealing with exes, this is something that is very, very, it's overlooked, but it has a very huge part it plays.
Come on.
Young couples deal with that, even in marriage. Talk less of even in relationships. Because like you said, you are seeing your existing partner now through the lens of your previous partner. What they have done, everything you have experienced from them, you have just created a lens and put it in your eyes that no matter what, because of that person, every other man is like this.
It's like this.
And that's how we lose good relationships. That's how we lose, very good and beautiful opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because of the experiences we've tagged to new people, which is not supposed to happen, definitely. So dealing with exes, like my husband has said before, you have to sit down, analyze. We talked about this in the previous episode. Heal from whatever it is that you might have gone through with an ex or whatever experience.
Deal with it.
Make sure you thoroughly heal before moving
as
on
much as you
to
can.
another person.
Yes.
Having healthy relationships, I cannot malice the person, or I cannot. Definitely, you cannot. If you meet on the way, say hi, hello, how are you? Have a formal relationship. But that one that he's still my bestie or my friend, I'm sorry to say, no matter how you avoid it, there are certain things that are still existent. Feelings are there that were always buried that might spark up if you're not disciplined.
Old fire would not advocate. That's what we say.
That's the saying we have here. Yes.
If you're not a surgeon,
if
you will not understand that
disciplined,
statement.
because you've obviously loved this person before. There has been something existent between the both of you before. My brother, my sister, like Joseph fled.
Flee.
Take everything that you have.
Like he fled, please
fly.
Flew.
Just flued. Yes, flued.
Flown. And keep flowing.
Flowing. Please.
As best as you can.
Flow.
Fled.
Safe to say, flew.
Flood.
You are not in any position, like I said, to keep anybody. That's even immaturity.
And one of the ways I think, like, I did this as well, and I think it's advisable to also do is, let's say you have a relationship or the relationship that you have in the past, and that's why it's very important to be self-aware, because if you are very self-observant, you will realize that there are certain reactions that you now have, there are certain limitations or restrictions that you now have that is really a product of what you've experienced. So what I would advise for most people, which I also try to do, and you might also attest to that fact, is try to communicate as best as you can to your partner or the person that you are going to get married to, especially for you preparing to get married. What really happened in your past relationships? Best as you can. Talk about it.
Please. Talk about it.
Talk about it. Communicate about it.
Everything.
Everything.
They will love you for who you are, regardless.
Communicate about it. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
I'm not saying, obviously, be honest, because no matter how bad your past relationship was, it was not all bad.
Nobody's expecting you to be a saint.
So please, I mean, even with the person's action, that's what I mean.
Right,
it was not all
everything.
bad. So if you are with a matured partner, like with you, I've never felt any restriction that if I start talking to you about my past relationship, you would feel jealous or anything, because it was needed. You understood the fact that it is important.
And how I received it also was
how you received it is very important. So it gave me the opportunity to also communicate with you that, this happened, that happened, and all of that. So it is an opportunity for you to let go, for you to put aside certain things, in dealing with that. But if you try to just deal with it by yourself and you say, I'm a man or I'm a woman, or it does not matter, or it happens to everybody, that might not always help, right? So communicate it, talk about it with your partner.
To the tiniest of details.
That's the first X. That's the first X. There is so much, we could even talk about that for 2 hours. That one X alone. But we're trying to ignore.
Dealing with your exes.
Listen to me. although we are stopping for this point for now, we are going to deal with them. Don't worry. At the end, I will show you the strategy, the things that you can do to ensure that they are dealt with, so that they will never mess with you again. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't just trust me. Just wait for the final point.
This man has influenced me so much. God.
I should.
Oh my God.
So the other X that you get to deal with is excuses.
Yes, excuses.
Excuses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially for someone who has been in a relationship before, oftentimes it is difficult for us to accept that we tend to make excuses for our actions. You know, if a relationship ended, 99% of the time, it is not only because the person did something wrong. Right. You also participated in it.
Of course.
All right? Mm-hmm. You also participated in it. Let me show you even one way. For you that you are saying that you don't understand me, is the person that had the problem. Even your decision of being with that person is your participation.
Of course.
All right? So if the relationship ended terribly, you chose that person.
Right.
Okay, let's say the person is the worst person in the world. The fact that you were at that point that you could choose such a person, you could choose someone who is toxic, you could choose someone who is immature, you could choose someone who is disloyal. Right? It means that there is something in you that you need to pay attention to, since you have the tendency to make such a choice. Yeah. All right, so dealing with excuses could be your weaknesses, it could be your limitations, things that are existing within you. Because especially if you've exited a relationship, you don't have the opportunity to change that person. In fact, you shouldn't even be concerned about it. Okay, but you can fix yourself to the extent wherein your present relationship will be much more beautiful. Yes. You know, it will be something that will stand the test of time. It will be much more cordial. You get? It will be a complementary relationship. Right? But that would only start if you let go of certain excuses. Okay? So don't make excuses for your action. You know, if you are someone who gets angry, let's say for an example.
You see, that's who I am.
Yeah. You get angry. Maybe when you're angry, you lash out, you can say terrible words to your partner. And you make the excuse of him that you are justified, that, the person got on my nerves, or it is because of what the person did. So what was I supposed to do? There is always something that you can do. So don't make the excuse of thinking that you are always justified in your action, you know, when you react to someone else's action. Right? Don't justify your action. Deal with what you can. That why is it that I always react, you know, when I'm offended? Because if your reaction is always using hurtful words or using physical force, you would always end up in problem, because someone is always going to offend you, intentionally and unintentionally.
It's unavoidable.
Especially the person that you get to spend the rest of your life with. You know, unintentionally, the person will do stuff that will piss you off, that will get you angry. So if you are used to a lifestyle of lashing out or using hurtful words, or you know, you avoiding the person because you feel a certain way that if this person makes you, or if the person does something to you, are going to avoid the person.
I keep to myself.
And keep to yourself.
Malice.
It's an excuse that you need to work on. What would you say about that? Excuses.
Predominantly, if you've noticed that there is a certain tendency that you have, and it is always complained about, not just by one person. Probably you've had like few partners, and they've constantly pointed out this thing as an issue. Don't allow pride and ego to make you feel like they are the one that has a problem. Without any shadow of doubt, you have a problem. 5 people, let me cut it short to 5. Maybe your exes might be more than 5. But I'm sorry, I'm just joking.
You're joking. Some of them is more than...
So yes, if you have series of people, okay, might not even be relationship-wise, maybe generally, people in church or around you, they're complaining and pointing out this attitude or this character about you. Don't sit down and say, me, this is how I am. Nobody can change me. You have to accept me for who I am. Can you accept you for who you are? Can you live with yourself like that? If the other person was you, can you live with you as you are? Don't make up excuses for, things that can be worked on.
Yes.
You know that this thing I can, intentionally work on it, become better. But you just choose to be nonchalant. And you expect a human being that is not an angel to accommodate your excesses when even you cannot deal with your own excesses.
Hey.
Let's be realistic.
So even dealing with the excesses. Excesses, excuses.
Your excesses,
Yes.
baggaged.
Yes.
You are waiting for somebody to carry it. It's only Jesus that said, cast your burden.
Away.
I will take the heavy one for you. Oh, I'm sorry, but it's only Jesus.
Only Jesus.
No.
Deal with
Only
your
Jesus
excesses.
did that.
Oh, babe, I love that.
No.
Deal
Don't
with
come
your
and sit
excesses.
down and be expecting someone else to deal with it for you.
Yeah.
Deal with it yourself.
Yes.
Sit down, internalize. That's one thing I intentionally work on every single day. To sit down and internalize. That's why this is another thing we talk about, being self-aware. No, you know you better than anybody else does. You know what flips you to become angry. You definitely know what the action is. Communicate it to the person you're with. There's a possibility that if you say this, I will react.
Babe, I need to give you your flowers. One of the things that I appreciate about you so much is that you're very self-aware. You know, sometimes you even give me prompters if you are
Right.
not in a good mood.
Of course.
Or if you're feeling, if you are in, you know, sometimes you'd say that you are in your feelings.
Yes, I
Or-
communicate that all the time.
Yes, you communicate it all the time
All
that,
the time.
you know, I'm not doing too okay today.
Today. Yes.
So that whole day I know that I cannot even be offended.
Of
You know,
course,
if you
no.
act, even though you even really act out of character. And I think that's because you're all very self-aware. I know that there's sometimes that you are intentionally silent, maybe because you know that if I talk, I will not say what truly represents me.
Yeah.
You know, so you being self-aware, it saves you from a lot of
A lot
things.
of things.
So
I don't
deal
connect
with the
it, sorry,
excesses.
to my star as in I am a be careful.
Yes.
I'm a, how are they called? This thing's your stars or something. I'm a Libra queen, so this is how we act and
What's it?
behave.
Is it astrology?
I don't know if it's astrology. They
I
have
think
what they
it's-
call this star is connected to your birth month or whatsoever.
Yes, what's that thing
People
called?
behave super
Astronomy or so.
nonchalant because of what I'm born in this kind of a month. This is how we
Then
behave.
sit down.
Or
Sit down.
my sister, when you have bad
Pisces
character, my
will
brother,
put you
you
in
have
pieces.
you have bad character, please. Or
Capricorn,
you know, we
Leo.
even women also, we have a certain time in our cycle where our hormones cause us to
Babe,
act
I beg,
out.
wait. This thing that you talked about. I don't like that thing.
It's a problem. And you see Christians, believers,
Believe it in it.
tongue speaking, they are conveniently confident to say those kind of things. Abba. I'm sorry.
Someone
If you feel
someone can
offended.
be very rude.
Yes. Abba.
You are rude. You don't know how to talk to someone and say this is because of my sign.
I am a Capricorn.
Oh yeah, it also you
Capricorn hits you there.
you and is that Capricorn that will bury you in singleness, or you'll be jumping from one relationship to another? It's me, I'm Capricorn. I
Yes.
always like to speak
Our
my mind.
star, that's how
You
we
and your
take
mind.
nonsense.
If you don't mind yourself, I don't like that. thing.
Deal with your excesses, please.
So I think someone has asked me that question before. I think obviously when I was single, maybe you meet a girl, ask you what's your sign.
Yeah,
And then
what's your
as you start
sign?
asking me thank God I'm married now, so I can say, as you ask me what's your sign, I'm gonna. What's my sign? Look at it.
Oh yes, sign of the cross.
It's only the sign of the cross that I know.
Only
Which
thing.
other sign?
Nothing else.
What's your sign? What's your sign? So if the people in my sign they cheat, so I'm allowed to
Yes.
be cheating.
I'm telling you.
People in my sign, if they are not committed, so I'm allowed.
Hmm.
People in my sign, they're very standoffish, or they only talk, they can be angry. So
Mm.
I'm allowed. I
I'm
cannot
allowed.
work on it anymore.
Mm.
So it's like you are accepting that this trait cannot be fixed. Assuming that it's a bad trait. So if I'm always insulting you, and that is symbolic to people that have that sign, you can never be angry with me because it's not me, ma.
I don't even know
It's
what
my
to say.
sign, oh.
It's not my. I'm telling you, what we're talking about is we're just joking about it, but it's super serious. Like,
Babe,
very,
that
very, very
is so
serious.
good that you mentioned that. I
Highly,
need to.
highly serious. Like I was talking about, when you are in, especially for women, there's a part of our cycle where, you know, our mood swings are activated because of our hormones.
Yes.
It might not even just be because you want to intentionally.
Yeah.
It's just associated to that part of our, as if physiological or
Yes.
something that they call it. So the moment I notice that sometimes my husband obviously always jokes about certain
Yes.
things. We have that. It's a normal
Yes.
thing. Okay, he might joke about something on another day.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yes.
But he jokes about it on another day.
Mhm.
I start feeling agitated.
Yes.
I start telling myself, oh no, wait.
It
I
is
calm
because
myself down. Yeah. I just know how to put myself in place. And I
Madam,
communicate it.
another lady will use that to insult me. Oh.
I always tell him that's why you must
Another
ensure
lady will
you are
insult her husband.
sensitive to.
Auntie, listen to me. Talk about this thing. You don't know what you this thing that you are saying.
Don't come and bank your out of character because it's my hormones.
Yeah, I
I am the moment I start, I have a tracker that I actually use. Even without, I just have a way.
I beg, where did you get this
of
tracker? We need to
noticing-
share this tracker. We
without
will make a
even the
WhatsApp
tracker,
group.
by myself. I start the moment I start noticing that on a
Internal
normal. Okay.
Is it? How do you
I
drink a
track
lot of
by
milk
myself.
to get
This
this
is
tracker?
not. Oh God.
How would someone get this? They need
It's
to
just
know.
intentionality, being intentional, and by the help of the Holy Spirit. So
Is
there's
it prayer?
nothing out of it.
Did they do deliverance?
You
for
just
or is it
you
your
just have to
parents?
be intentional.
Or is your sign?
That's just it.
What month were you born, man? Maybe it's
No.
your month. It's only people in your
We're
month
laughing
that have
about this, but I'm telling you, it will save you from a lot. It will save you.
It will save you from a lot.
just behaving out of character because the moment I sense it, thank God I have a very loving and understanding partner.
I
My
did try.
husband, oh my God.
I did try.
I
Even
bless
them
God
knows.
for him every single day. I cannot internalize anything. I talk about it
She
with
talks
him.
about it, yeah. She does.
The moment I'm in my feelings, I tell him
So I
about
don't look
it.
for trouble. I will not mess and start making unnecessary.
It's not like I behave out of anyway.
She
But
doesn't.
I just tell him because might be highly sensitive that day or a certain kind of. I communicate even if he says something I'm not okay with. Even if he's in the parlor, I'm in the room. I'll call him on the phone.
Yes.
You said something. Did
Yeah.
you really mean it?
Yeah.
Because I felt this way.
Yeah.
And my anger, sometimes I can even say, I wish I'd not tell him because this anger is
I know,
wasted.
eh?
How will I waste this anger?
I know. I know.
Not
But
anger,
even, babe,
irritation.
I mean, even in the times that you do get in your feelings and you don't like certain things, even how you communicate it is so graceful.
Right.
It's so graceful because there are times, I mean, even I will not allow myself to take all the credit. There are some times that even maybe what I actually did or said, I didn't say the right way, I didn't do the right thing. Okay. But the way you communicate it, despite how you felt, it helps me to receive it more. So it does not turn into a problem or a fight because you communicated it that, oh, you said something that I don't like, or why do you really say that? And you communicate. So I'm willing to. So deal with it, please. Don't make an excuse.
Don't connect it
for
to
your sign or your time of the month.
Yes, your cycle or anything.
I'm not being
or
insensitive to these things. No one is being insensitive to these things. They are real.
Please,
Okay, but they're not always an excuse.
It's not.
Okay, it's not an excuse
It's
for
not an
your
excuse.
inability to act
Take note
right
of this Exes,
or to
please.
do the right thing. Let's go to the
Yes.
next one before the next one is dealing with experiences.
Experiences.
All right, dealing with experiences, your trauma, especially negative experiences, things that you've experienced in the past. Deal with them.
Please.
We need to be paying attention to those. Okay, but all the experiences that you've had,
Whatever
in the
it
past,
is, deal
whatever
with it.
pain, make sure you deal with it by talking about it. Right, doing therapy, praying about it, ask God to help you.
Yes.
All of these are products of self-awareness, like you talked about, right? So dealing with experiences, I don't think we need to stress that point too much.
Yes.
And then the last one that is a very interesting one for me that I love talking about, I've talked about this before in different settings, is dealing with expectations. Yes, deal with expectations. Right? Expectation is one of the things that us as God's children, we need to be very careful about because most of the times our expectations are determined by society
I'm telling you.
and not by God. Okay? I was talking in a WhatsApp group, I think it was a couple of weeks ago with some other men, and I think a guy was asking a question that, oh, what if you see a lady who is very spiritual, has very good character, and all these things, but she does not meet your physical requirement? And I asked that, okay, what exactly is your physical requirement? And I don't remember exactly what the guy said, but I think it was something around, oh, you know now what we guys like. And I'm like, really no. Okay? And the reason why I said that, it is because I have realized this. Most guys don't really have a physical requirement. Most of us, our physical requirement is shaped by culture. It is shaped by society. We believe that a woman is only beautiful when she has figure 8, maybe she has a big breast, or she has a nice shape or waist or something. So you've had that from several people over and over and over again. and you said this is my physical
Your
requirement.
standard of beauty.
And also, it's been shown to you by social media. You've seen lots of pictures. They show
Telling you.
a beautiful woman is maybe the
Yes.
one that is slim
Yes.
and tall and
Yes.
has figure 8 and has this color of skin
Yes.
and all. So you don't even know what you truly want.
Mm.
So a lot of people, because they cannot deal with expectation in this aspect,
Mm.
they tend to forgo a good thing because of what they assume they want. They tend to forgo what they truly need.
What
So
they
a guy,
truly need.
or even a lady, can meet a guy
Mm.
who is a very God-loving man,
Mhm.
very responsible,
Mhm.
very loyal,
Mm.
all the right qualities that that is needed.
Mhm.
But then they'll say the guy is not their height. Okay? Or the guy does not have a good dress sense. That I don't like his dress sense. Or I don't like his color. Color.
You've only seen him now. You've not seen him later.
Yeah, I'm telling you, color. A man that is loving, so a man will be loving, loves God, have money, be very caring, be loyal, all those good traits, and also be the right height for you, right color, and everything will just align. This is not Saturn.
God bless you.
You are not in Jupiter. Maybe these things happen in Jupiter. They
God
don't
bless
happen
you, sir.
here.
Uh-huh.
They don't happen here. So a lady or a guy might meet someone who is a
Mm.
very good candidate for them to consider for marriage. And then they will not even be open to the possibility of communicating with this person
Mhm.
because of an expectation that was given to them by society and not by God.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mhm.
By society. We've had this discussion with
Yeah.
even some of the ladies in our ministry, some of the
Mhm.
young people.
Mhm.
The same thing. Maybe they meet a guy, good guy, loves God, all
Because
these
he's
things.
short.
He's short. He's short.
Some people will be like, "Oh, love, look at what you're talking about. Look at your own husband, do." I'm sorry.
How does
God packages everything differently.
how does together forever connect with height? Now listen
Height
to
or
me,
body
please.
stature.
I would clarify. I'm not saying
Uh-huh.
that physical requirement is not
It's
important,
not important.
but you have to be sure
Be sure
that what you expect when it comes to physical requirement and other things is what you truly need.
what you need.
Okay, it is not just an expectation that is influenced by
By
your
society
peers
or
or by
peers,
society or by your parents or whatnot. Maybe there are some people who will be, maybe they will come from a particular tribe and their parents will say that you can only
From
marry
this tribe,
someone
yes.
from this tribe.
Yes.
So if they meet a guy, even if it's very good, they would restrict themselves because of the tribe, or they have an assumption of people in a certain tribe. They will not deal with someone individually. So your expectations.
Expectations.
Alright? And also on the flip side there, before you come in, when it comes to expectation, ladies do this as well, men as well, but I think ladies more. Please, I'm not what would I say
Being
now?
biased.
Being biased to ladies, right? But when I make the point, you would understand what I mean. When ladies meet a guy, alright, ladies usually get married or make a decision of being with a guy with the assumption or the belief that they can change the person.
That's oh my God.
Okay? If a lady meets you right now,
She's
and-
looking at everything.
oh, she's looking at everything that she can change.
I've also been there.
Yeah. Oh, you're
I
looking
know what
at
I'm
all.
talking about.
This trousers that
I
you
was
used to
there
wear.
before.
I will change it. This is haircut. I'm going to change it. This is body. I need to do this. You've not ever even had a discussion with a guy. Men that are stubborn. Men that are stubborn. So you are probably getting married to a person or deciding to be in a communicated relationship with someone with expectation. You have an expectation that you believe that the person is going to align with without even having a discussion with the person.
Without even having a discussion.
All right? So don't set an expectation that you've not discussed with the person. You have to understand what is the person's perspective concerning that aspect. When I met you, and I also did this before ever I was in a relationship with you to get married. One of the things that I do when I meet, especially a lady, that there is a possibility of us being in a relationship then, is I always just want to know your opinions about stuff. I'm not coming to put my expectations on you. Because I can expect anything doesn't mean that I'm going to get it.
Right.
And because of I expect something, it doesn't mean that I'm going to. I can expect loyalty. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get it. So you deal with people based on their potential, not based on your expectation.
Ooh, that's heavy.
All
Deal
right?
with people based on their potential.
Not based on your expectations. That's how you deal with people.
Okay.
So that means that if I meet you, assuming that we're meeting for the first time, we went on a date, we're talking, I'm considering the possibility of being with you, I will deal with you based on your potential in the sense that I want to know of your past relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been respectful?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been loyal?
Mm.
What have you added to the people that you've been with?
Mm.
I cannot just sit with you and tell you that, oh, me, if I'm going to be with a woman, I need a woman that will submit. I need a woman that will be loyal. I don't want you to be doing all of that. I can even write a dictionary
Mm-hmm.
or a full pamphlet and give to
Mm.
you. It does not mean that you're going to do anything.
Mm.
The only reference that I have
Mm.
that will give me at least a certain degree of assurance is the reference of your past.
Mm-hmm.
The reference, because your past speaks to your potential.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done in your past relationships? How have you handled that? So I want to discover more about your experience, about what you've been involved in, how have you responded to certain situations. So it speaks to your potential. So if I'm going to be with you, all right, let's say your past relationship, you cheated or you were disrespectful, that means that I am accepting that if I'm going to be with you, I'm going to be with someone who has the potential to cheat. I'm going to be with someone who has the potential to be disrespectful. I cannot now be with you.
Wiping the water off. In case you are just crying because of this point.
I cannot now be with you. Then when you cheat, I'm surprised. Why would I be surprised? I should never be surprised. If you've been cheating, why do I think that because I told you that, okay, when you are going to be with me, if you cheat, I will not want again, and I think that you're going to do it? No. If I knew that you cheated before in your past relationship, and then I entered in a relationship with you, I should expect that you will cheat. So when you do cheat, I cannot sit here and start complaining that, oh, this woman, I never thought that she would do this to me, or oh, this man, I never thought that he would do this kind of thing to me.
Ignore the red flag.
Because you ignored the red flags. You were observing the person, you were relating with the person on the basis of your expectation. You did not pay attention to their potential. All right. So relate with people on the basis of their potential and don't set unnecessary expectations. What do you have to say about that, babe?
Definitely. This is something, what we're talking about are things we've always talked about from the onset of just being friends till we, moved on to being in a relationship, dating, and then to marriage now. So expectations are things that must be communicated. But one thing we also need to clarify, like my husband has said, don't set unrealistic expectations. Things you don't even have. I say this. You cannot be God-fearing and you're expecting to... the first quality when you ask anybody, what do you want in a man or in a woman? They must be God-fearing. Are you God-fearing enough to know somebody that's God-fearing? He must be spirit-filled. Your spirit-filled self, can you detect a spirit-filled person?
Look at that, man.
You can detect who you are. Not what you are not.
You attract who you are, not what you want.
What do you... Equal. That's one thing my mom normally says. As in how? What's the magic? Sitting down, building, like you said, because of society or standards of other people. It might even be our parents. It might be guardians. It might be, loved ones, whosoever it is. They might be seeking your interest, creating a mindset in you, and then you just build up an expectation because of that. I'm telling you, that was one thing I had to deal with properly and thoroughly, and it has helped us because we obviously talk about things from the onset. Having healthy communications is one beautiful thing. We talked about expectations, like normal expectations I have in a partner. We talked about that. Generally, what are the things I consider to be very important? We talked about things. And like we talked about, focusing on the potential. You have lost so many good prospects just because of what you saw in a movie that is not even real. It is scripted. Something that is scripted is not even real. You said my man should be TDH, tall, dark, and handsome. My sister, my brother, there are so many TDHs with if you see their baggage,
I know a thief that is tall, dark, and handsome.
God bless you.
He's even called Abraham.
And we're saying this, but it's so important.
It's so true.
Have realistic, God-aligned expectations. There are things I did not see in my husband when we were dating that I see him manifesting now. I myself, I'm like, okay, so if I sat down and was acting as if, I don't tolerate a man that does not do this. I don't think we'll be here by
now. There could be so much more better things that he would do or she would do.
Yes, without even saying it. There's some things I just told God. I just personally prayed. I said, God, these are things I desire. You know me. You know what I need. You know me by default. this and this and this are things I desire and I'm looking for. When I was praying, even when he told me his intention to the last minute, I said, God, if he's not the one,
let you know.
anything that is not of you, I know they do.
So you said that to God about. So you wanted to leave me young.
I was ready if God was not in it.
So you are going to abandon
without
me?
any hesitation. Me, my mind. I'm not saying this to see myself.
You are going. You guys are hearing this. Eh?
This is me being truthful. So when I
so this lady
praying
was going to leave me.
Praying is, God, you know what I need. You know me better than I do. The husband that definitely you have prepared for me.
Right.
It's not even what I want. Now I'm putting everything aside. Everything.
What
it is what you know I need.
Yeah.
Physically, that's what I was praying. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, every single thing I need for my present and my future.
Come on.
My present and my
future.
future, everything together. That's what I was praying for. So my expectations were not, it's not bad to have expectations, but let them be realistic and communicated. Before getting married, our counseling was so thorough. Oh,
hey, that one, I think we have to do an episode that will talk about
Jesus, it made us
counseling.
to know the things. I'm not even surprised when I see certain things now, because I had an idea about it, of what he expects in a wife, domestically, mentally, spiritually. We talked about those things.
So we are not surprised now.
We're not surprised now.
We'll not come and fight.
And there are things I know I can handle and live with for the rest of my life. Like we talked about now, you've seen the potential of somebody that is a whatsoever it is, and you are using your own two hands to blind the red billboard, thinking it will change to green when I get married to him. One
of the examples that I'll give that I think I might be safe to give that you might not be offended by. I don't think there would ever come a time that my wife would start complaining that I don't call her too much. Two of us. Because before we got married, we had that discussion. Two of us. That I am not too much of a frequent caller. Right? We had that discussion. Am I saying that I shouldn't try to do it? That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But I'm just saying that since we now discussed about it, and you are conscious of the fact that I'm not so much, it will not be too much.
This is a different context now.
It will not be too much of a thing for you to, have a problem with. Yes, you might say, oh, you should be calling me quite often. But if it so happens that my natural weakness of not being too much of a caller shows up, I don't think you will be too offended by it. Right? So, in fact, now when you probably need me to call or communicate a bit more often, when you communicate, it will not be out of the place of pain or lack or you being angry, because you understand you're already expecting that. Okay. Now, my final point that I will make is one of the best advices that I got before we got married. It is one of the advices that really helped me greatly to prepare for marriage. It's a simple advice, but I've never heard it before that time that it was told to me. It is, when you decide to get married and you've observed the person that you're going to settle down with, you've observed all the good things that you like, and you've also observed certain things that you don't like. If you are going to get married to that person, you must come to terms with the fact that all these things that I don't like, if they never change, do I still want to be with this person? That's a question that I asked myself before we got married. I observed some of the things that I probably don't prefer when it comes to your actions or things that you do. And then I asked myself deeply that, okay, all these things, because yes, we might talk about them. Yes, I might still complain and say, oh, I need you to work on that and that. Sure. Yes. But if it happens that those things never change, do I still want to be with this woman? That's the question that I asked myself. Because most people that get divorced, when you hear, they say it is because of irreconcilable differences. Right? And sometimes people got divorced because someone will leave the toilet seats down.
Yes, sure.
Yeah,
it is a little. I'm telling you, it's not even the.
It's not even the major, not cheating,
things.
Not any other thing, not the inability to maybe be a children or disrespect. Not even leaving toilet seat down, turning the lights off or on. All right. So when I was about to get married, I had to ask myself that question of the things that I have observed. If it so happens that these things never change. Right? I'm not saying that I will not try to talk to you about them. But if it never changes, am I willing to commit to you for life?
That for the rest of
and when I got to the point that my answer to that was yes, then I knew that to a greater extent I was prepared.
Same thing as myself.
So I would also tell you that when it comes to your expectations,
please.
if you are preparing for marriage, you are with someone, please don't engage the illusion that you are going to change that
Oh
person.
yes.
Don't engage that
don't.
illusion.
No.
All right? People only change when
When
they
they
want
want
to.
to change.
No one will change
Oh,
because
but
of
you are
you.
not Holy Spirit.
Right?
Hello?
People change when they want to. So if you are with someone, ask yourself the question that with all the things that I don't prefer about this person, if it never changes, do I still want to be with this man or this woman for the rest of my life? If the answer is no, please reconsider that relationship. If the answer is yes, to a greater extent, you are good to go. Do you have any final words? I believe our time.
Definitely. This is something I wish we had more time to talk about. But these things, every of the exes we've pointed out are super, super important.
Yeah.
Consider what you know you can live with for the rest of your life, whether or not they change. Be willing to accept, because I'm telling you, like we've obviously, we're going to talk about that in all the episodes. This month we're thoroughly touching so many things as led by God. Considering marriage, most importantly, prepare your mind to accept what you know you can handle and live with, not for 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, for the rest of your life, because you're not stepping out. That is not an option. Look at what you know you can handle in this person. If this is what they are, who they are, be willing to know if you can take it. Take it. That's why you don't spend all that time of talking, doing unnecessary things. And it's when you get married you want to talk. No.
I know the word like that.
No. Don't.
Yes, babe.
Be realistic with your expectations. Be honest with your expectations. Let your expectations be aligned with the word of God.
Right.
That's the most important thing. That's one thing I sat down and I was open to. It must be in alignment with the truth, which is the word of God. And when it is entirely bent on what God says, God will give you extra jara. You'll be surprised and shocked. Okay. But if you come to him and, God, this is it, oh, I don't want you to change it, he lets you be. And at the end of the day, you see it. So please ensure all what we've talked about, think on them, and we're definitely willing to answer your questions.
Guys, we love you guys.
We love you.
So my final, I told you guys I'm going to show you how to deal with that your ex.
Deal with them.
You understand what I'm saying?
Shut up.
That person needs to be dealt with. Tonight, before we end this episode, we have to deal with that person.
Hey, I want you to bring out a cutlass.
Those ones that try.
Hold your cutlass in your hand.
The Bible
with
says,
a padlock.
This is the scripture we're going to use to deal with them. Matthew 5, verse 44.
You found a scripture.
Matthew 5:44 says, it says, love your enemies.
Oh,
right? It says, love your enemies. It says, and pray for those who persecute you. That's what the Bible says. It says, love it. The best thing you can do for yourself as it pertains to those that you are angry towards,
just how to deal
or
with
those
them.
who maltreated you, is
We've
to love
shown
them.
You the secret.
Pray for them. Pray for God to bless them. Pray for God to help them. If they had certain weaknesses and stuff, just pray for them. I don't waste your time trying to see how, that's how most people waste their years. They're always waiting for things to go wrong. Say this person will see it and like, don't waste your time.
Praying for evil to
If you can pray for the person, pray for them and love them, and God will continue to bless you and make your life more fruitful. Guys, thank you for joining this episode. We love you. We hope that you learned something. Ask questions, drop a comment, subscribe. Turn the video off. We're done. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye, guys. Bye-bye.
We welcome you in the name of the Lord.
Bye.